It's rare that a game feels so addictive to play that you finish it in one sitting, but that's exactly what happened with Crypt Custodian. While there may be a bit of wasted potential here and there that may turn hardcore Metroidvania fans off, Crypt Custodian is still among the best Metroidvanias I played this year. In Crypt Custodian you play as Pluto, a cat that died and is sentenced to clean up the afterlife forever. Equipped with only a broom, your task is to make friends that help take down the evil ghost known as Kendra. She's the one who decides who goes to heaven or hell. To find a way out, Pluto needs to explore the afterlife, fight some tough bosses, and learn new abilities. Exploration is a little bit different than in most Metroidvanias though. In most Metroidvanias, exploration means finding tons of secrets behind hidden walls and secret paths, which become accessible with new abilities. That is still true for Crypt Custodian as well, only to a lesser degree. The fun of exploring the afterlife comes from the individual and super well designed set pieces. There's a good mix of great platforming with really fun mechanics and challenging puzzles that range from fairly easy to head-scratching. So rather than relying on hiding items behind secret walls, the exploration is more about discovering the level design itself. And there's a really good reason behind this, and that is the overall gameplay loop. If there were hidden items to find, players would spend a lot of time hitting walls and looking for cracks in the floor, resulting in a slower progression. Of course, this is totally fine for a game to do that, but the developer decided to remove these things almost completely in favor of a faster gameplay loop. When you know that there are hardly any secrets to discover, you move through the world more carefree and faster. That is the one thing I mentioned in the beginning of the video that may be an issue for some hardcore Metroidvania fans. For many players, finding well-hidden secret items and paths is the bread and butter of a Metroidvania, and Crypt Custodian might not be the game that satisfies this taste. That being said, of course there are things to find in Crypt Custodian, it's just that hard to find them. The puzzles and platforming sections I mentioned earlier mostly reward you with upgrade points and upgrades. Upgrades are items you can equip for all kinds of active and passive effects, like a higher attack power at full health, or a ghost that follows you and shoots enemies. Upgrade points on the other hand increase the capacity to equip upgrades. It's a simple system that most Metroidvania fans are familiar with, and I had a lot of fun diving into it and find synergies and make Pluto stronger. The only thing I was a bit confused about is that there aren't any health upgrades in the game, or even a way to heal Pluto. In most Metroidvanias, it's common that one major kind of item you can find is health upgrades, but in Crypt Custodian, this remains absent. The only way to naturally increase your health is through one specific upgrade, which grants you 1 extra HP. Also, the only way to heal up is to return to a checkpoint. That is really a problem though, as checkpoints are everywhere. So don't worry, you won't need to return to checkpoints just to heal up and then walk the same way again. The combat itself is really responsive and fun. You get a basic melee combo, can choose one of 8 special attacks, and get a dodge that later turns into a quick dash. That may sound basic at first, but enemies all come with different attack patterns that are telegraphed, and considering there are plenty of enemies following or shooting at you, there's a lot happening on the screen at times. So maneuvering Pluto around enemy holds requires good reflexes, is exciting, and never really gets old. Bosses are brilliant. Their combat mechanics are always easy to understand, super fun to master, and they really need you to be perfect with Pluto's movement. Still, Crypt Custodian is a fairly easy game. Most of the bosses took me just a couple of attempts to beat, and everything else wasn't really hard to do either. There are 3 difficulty options though, and I played the game on normal, so there is one option to make this game harder. There are even some settings to make the game even more accessible if you want, like how much damage you deal, if you want to take fall damage, or even to increase your health. All of that is, again, in favor of a fast gameplay loop, and that is a good decision because the time span between obtaining new items, getting to new places, or defeating bosses is super short and therefore extremely satisfying. Crypt Custodian is an interesting game. It simplifies some Metroidvania standards, which may be unfulfilling for some hardcore fans of the genre, but the fast gameplay loop resulting from this is satisfying and fun. The unique set pieces, puzzles and platforming challenges are what make exploration an absolute joy, and the bosses are designed creatively and are super fun to fight. Crypt Custodian may be a bit lighter on the Metroidvania aspect, but what it does brilliantly, and personally, I can't wait to start my second playthrough. Thanks so much for watching, hit subscribe if you find this review helpful and want to see more videos about indie games, Metroidvanias, JRPGs and more. This really makes a difference. Alright, have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.